Have you ever had one of those days where even getting out of bed feels like a battle? Not because you're lazy, not because you don't care, but because everything just feels heavy. We all have hard days, days when nothing goes right, when the smallest inconvenience feels like the final straw, when your mind whispers, "What's the point?" But here's the truth you need to hear today. Hard days are allowed, hard days are human, but hard days are not allowed to win. Sometimes we think strength means always being motivated, always being positive, always being confident, but it doesn't. Real strength is showing up when you don't feel like it. Real strength is taking one small step when your mind tells you to quit. Real strength is surviving the day without giving up on yourself. Some days, you're not trying to conquer the world, you're just trying to make it through the next hour, and that counts. You don't need to have everything figured out. You don't need to be at your best every single day. You just need to refuse to let one bad day define you. Because that's what hard days try to do. They try to convince you that this feeling is permanent, that this struggle is who you are, that this setback is the end of your story. It's not. It's just a chapter, and chapters change. You've survived days before that you thought would break you. There were moments in your past when you felt overwhelmed, exhausted, maybe even hopeless, and yet you're still here. That's not weakness, that's resilience. The hard days don't erase your progress. They don't cancel your growth. They don't undo your potential. They test it. Growth doesn't always look powerful. Sometimes growth looks like crying and still going to work. Sometimes growth looks like being anxious and still showing up. Sometimes growth looks like failing and trying again anyway. You are allowed to struggle, but you are not allowed to surrender to the idea that this is all you are. You are more than a bad mood, more than a mistake, more than a rough week. Hard days are loud. They amplify your insecurities, replay your failures, exaggerate your fears, but they are not telling the full story. The full story includes your courage, your effort, every time you kept going when quitting would have been easier. On hard days, your goal is not to be unstoppable. Your goal is to be unmovable. Unmovable in your decision to keep trying. Unmovable in your belief that this will pass. Unmovable in your commitment to your future self. The person you're becoming is built on days like this. Not the easy days. Not the days when everything flows perfectly, but the days when you wanted to give up and didn't. Every time you choose to continue, even in a small way, you win. You win when you get out of bed, when you take a deep breath instead of reacting, when you try again, when you rest instead of quitting entirely. Winning doesn't always look like success. Sometimes winning looks like survival, and survival is powerful. So if today feels heavy, if your motivation feels low, if your confidence feels shaken, this is your moment to prove something to yourself, not to the world, not to anyone watching, but to you. Prove that one difficult day cannot erase years of dreams, that temporary emotions cannot control permanent decisions, that you are stronger than a moment of doubt. You don't have to be perfect today. You don't have to be extraordinary today. You just have to keep going, one step, one task, one breath at a time. And if all you can do today is survive, then survive with intention. Tell yourself, this day will not defeat me, because it won't. The sun will rise again, your energy will return, your clarity will come back, your momentum will rebuild. Hard days do not last forever, but the strength you build by pushing through them does. So don't let the hard days win. Feel them, learn from them, rest if you need to, but do not hand them the final word. Your story is still being written, and this is not the ending, not even